Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I wanted to make a video regarding educational issues and being put in slow learning classes and its relationship to narcissistic abuse and growing up in a narcissistically abusive home. I've been meaning to make this video for a very long time because it's very near and dear to my own story, as this very thing happened to me as a child. And I've had a few subscribers ask me about making a video on this topic. So here we go. You see, the narcissistic dynamic is the same, but it's different for everyone. Meaning, it appears the narcissists all grab from the same bag of tricks when they are doing their brainwashing to us and putting us through the abuse that shaped us into the people we've become. But how and what they use in this bag of tricks depends on a lot. Such as, were you born in a rich home or poor home? Did you have a lot of smart people in your home? Or a lot of people that didn't have much of an education in your home? And even then, dynamics can vary from child to child in one particular home. However, quite often you will see a narcissist that is raising a child where he or she is very well educated. They will abusively push their child to be the same, never giving compliments unless others are around. Like, "That's my boy," or "That's my girl." And gaining this education is all for show for this person. Or you gaining this education is all for show. So your narcissistic parents don't lose face. But there are times even in this home, you might have a scapegoat child. They will deprive of help with school work and such, in order to make it look like this child has a learning problem. In order to have this child put through a series of slow learning classes. Then you have the other side of the coin. You have the poor family, where they push their children to succeed in the same way as the rich family, because they like to brag in public and ridicule in private. But most commonly, I've found in the dynamic in a poor home, with parents that have lesser of an educational background, and they show themselves to be narcissists. They tend to sabotage everything that you do. As for instance, after my father was pushed to his grave, I believe from the horrible situation he had to deal with my mother, I was pretty much stuck with my mother. And she wore her educational problems on her sleeve, like a badge of honor. And she still does to this day. It's like she gets off by telling people, "Oh, oh, I didn't know. I have educational problems, you know." Every time she would do this, I would want to duck and hide. Well, though I was always a very bright and talkative child, holding conversations with grown adults about things I might have watched on the news, and would do quite well in these conversations, I just had no one to help me with school work. And though my mother had her problems, I do believe there were things my mother could have done to assist me, other than making me appear to be retarded to the school administration. In grade school I was oftentimes sent to the slow learning classrooms, and a few times taken out of class to undergo what appeared to be testing to see if I was retarded. I didn't know it at the time, but I look back now and I'm pretty sure that's what was happening. They would have me do a lot of the tests that you might see someone do in a DUI traffic stop. Like close your eyes and touch your nose, hop on one foot, and throw a golf ball into a cardboard box. Weird stuff like that. I would always pass with flying colors, I believe, because the person that was giving me these tests would always have a look on their face like as if to say, "Why are you here going through all of this?" Now I did truthfully have trouble with my school work. Not because of anything else except I was sabotaged at home. I believe my mother, though she had her troubles, had the ability to help on the basic things more than she let on. You see, my mother loved to get her supply any way she could. And she had several outlets, many of where she was the victim. And having educational problems fit right in with her always being a victim, where she would require special assistance with everything she did. And I'm fairly certain the more that I look back onto things, She was grooming me to be just like her. You see. Narcissists that are like my mother never want you to leave the nest. They want to keep you stupid, poor, and unable to help yourself. Because if you are all screwed up like that, you will be around to be their supply until they are dead. But if you are allowed to get a good education, they are afraid you will see right through their BS and leave the moment you get a chance. And they're right. Anyone with half a brain and a few bucks in their pocket would run the minute they got a chance. And that's exactly what I did. That being said, I kept coming back because I didn't understand narcissism at the time. And because I loved my mother. But deep down inside I knew my mother's home was screwed up. And it wasn't for me. I needed to go. You see. Just like the smear campaign. Your narcissist parent or parents more than likely get in contact with your teachers, your principals, and the like, and will state how you are slow, how you need special classes, because they had special classes when they were children also, and on and on. Instead of doing what a caring parent would do, and say the truth, that they had trouble in school. They are doing the best they can. They don't believe you are slow. Because you are very bright and articulate. And you speak like a mini adult. And is there any after-school programs you can bring your child to, in order to assist with homework and the like? So you can not only keep up, but so you can excel. Nope. They want you stuck just like they were stuck. And that not only means stuck in school. That means stuck at home. If your education is screwed up, that means to them, you will always have a hard time getting a good paying job. Which means you will be stuck in the family home with them and adopt their screwed up way of life. And allow yourself to drift over to the dark side like your golden child siblings. But for me I never did. I just rode out the pain. From grade school through high school. Failing nearly every class I ever took. I honestly don't know how I graduated. I, like many of you, always felt ashamed and broken inside about this problem. But when I look back, this being broken and ashamed fed my mother. You guessed it? More narcissistic supply. It wasn't until I got out of high school that I lucked into a couple of good jobs. That I realized that I was smart. Or reasonably so. And talented in many different areas. My confidence grew. And I quickly realized, if I didn't grow up in the screwed up home I lived in, I would have never been in those classes. I probably would have been a straight A student. It was very weird. My brightness and my grades never matched each other. I always tried hard. But it appears I was fighting something inside. I had a hard time concentrating. And most times, as many have talked about, I would just go to sleep. And it was all having CPTSD at an early age. I was fighting that. The entire time. That was my problem. Not that I was stupid or dumb. I was almost like a darn prisoner of war. And was trying to go to school at the same time. And I just couldn't make it work. And my mother was behind the scenes like a puppet master. Pulling the strings. Making everyone believe that's where I belonged. Because that's where she belonged. But when it all comes down to it, parents that do this kind of thing to their child, it's all about control. And it's all about narcissistic supply. These parent or parents are looking long term. And more than likely they were tricked exactly the same way. So they would end up staying and being the caretaker for their narcissistic mother or father. And they know if they do or did the same to you, all your life options would disappear and you would be stuck. And to make matters worse, if you don't have a good education and you are unable to go places in life because of it, socially you will suffer. Because you won't know how to act. Except for the weird stuff you witnessed in the home you grew up in. And sadly, some of this stuff does wear off on us. And until we get healthy we might say and do some really weird things that might push normal healthy people away from us without knowing it. But I kept struggling and fighting to develop a normal life for myself. And I finally got out. And I witnessed others. Good healthy people. And how they interacted with their families. And how normal people lived their lives. And I realized I needed to make some changes. Now at that time I didn't know about narcissism. Because I still kept interacting with my family and I met Susie. But even then I wanted to live a normal life. And realize the home I grew up in was anything but normal. And my mother was trying so hard to keep me from seeing that normal side of life. She wanted to keep me screwed up in every way. So I would go right back to her. Because the narcissist parents wants to abuse you so much. And take so much from you. You have no other choice but to go back to the very person that screwed your life up. It's truly sick. Now are there some kids that can benefit from slow learning classes? Yes, I'm sure there are. But I'm willing to bet you there are millions of children in those classes suffering from CPTSD right now. And their educational problem isn't educational. It's because they are almost like prisoners of war and then being asked to function in a classroom setting and do homework at the age of 9 or 10 and get things right. All the while their entire family is trying to pull them down. I will tell you. Back then I was a very bright child. They would tell me I was very articulate. I could conversate very well with adults. And I had passion and a love for whatever I was talking about at the time. And when I became a man, I excelled at whatever job I've ever had. And these teachers just looked mystified. Like, how can this be? This doesn't match what James' mother is telling us, kind of a look. And the reason it didn't match. And it probably didn't match for you either. It was all about power and supply for the moment. And power and supply long term. The more they screw up your life, the more you will be an incapacitated prey item. They can suck off of any time they choose. That was part of their life plan for you and me. Not to get a good education and be free. But once I found out about narcissism, it changed my life. And everything became clear. And this was one of those things. I grow every day. Now are there things I could be doing if I didn't go through all of that? Yes. I'm sure you can say the same, sadly. It's truly sad. But we must keep going. You're not dumb. And nor am I. We all have special talents and skills. We need to start using them. We can't just languish away not doing what we are good at. And what we were put on this earth to do. Knowledge is indeed power. But my passion to fight and not give up is why I'm here and not living with my disordered mother in her hoarder home. Despite all the depressing times. And times I would just sleep the day away because of the CPTSD. I would keep on fighting. And I will never give up. And I hope you never give up too. Keep on learning and growing. And doing. Because like I always say, knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we can lead happy and healthy lives. Until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.